All right, everybody, happy Cyber Saturday. I'm Blake Schwank with Colorado Computer Support, and we do this every Saturday to help protect your business from malicious things that are out there on the internet and around the world, and especially these days, Russia. And I'm here with a good friend. Why don't you introduce yourself, Earl?
Sure, Earl Foote from Nexus IT, based in Salt Lake City, Utah, just across the mountains from Blake and his team. We've been longtime friends, been in a lot of best practices groups and stuff together for a long time. So.
Yeah, and it's a great relationship because we're able to learn from each other. You know, I think as IT businesses, we need to get out there, meet each other, learn from each other. And you were telling me you did a show a couple weeks ago on the radio about what's happening between Russia and Ukraine. And what did you talk about then at the whole start of this, before the Russians even invaded Ukraine?
Yeah, so I think it's really interesting. I think I'm not one to, I don't like to over speculate, right? But I think honestly what we're seeing the evolution of warfare. And I think what we're beginning to see is that nation states, if they're planning physical, warfare, physical attacks, they're using cyber tactics as wave one in order to cause chaos, pandemonium, destabilize populations. We saw, just a few days before, actually when Russia started lining up on the border of Ukraine, we started seeing the federal government for Ukraine, basically all their websites hacked with a message that came up and said, be afraid, expect the worst, on their banks, on all the, organizations affiliated with the Ukrainian government in any way, and then banks were hacked, people were denied access to their funds, all sorts of crazy little, things that started to happen there prior to physical invasion. And so I really think that what we're seeing is that, countries, if they're going to go to war, they're going to consider some sort of strategy that includes cyber warfare. You can take out so much more in terms of targets in a much quicker, manner. So, yeah, I think it's unfortunately an evolution. It's honestly, it's a little scary.
Yeah, it's very scary. Yeah. And I thought it was interesting, though, on the flip side, we were able to pull a lot of their message platforms off. I don't know if you saw Facebook pulled the plug on their national, media and stuff off of Facebook because they were spreading disinformation.
Yeah.
So when we're talking cyber warfare, a lot of it I've seen focuses more on large government contractors, on the federal government itself, the DoD itself.
Yeah.
What do you think the risk is really to, you and I both have a lot of medium-sized, large-sized businesses that are not in the DoD space. Are they at risk right now from the Russians coming in after them and going after their stuff?
Whether it's Russians or it's individual, attackers or, organized hacking groups, nation state hacking groups, certainly Russia isn't the only, country that has been proven to have state-sponsored hacking groups, right? The reality is, in modern business, we're all so interconnected, and the ecosystems, are so close to each other that even if you're not a DoD contractor, the likelihood that you could become a target, look, you and I know we're consistently in our clients' environments, and we are protecting them every single day. Even small clients that think I'm not a target, they're getting, they have hack attempts in the dozens or even hundreds against them every single day, right? So it's not just governments or DoD, contractors or, high-profile organizations that are targets. Small to medium-sized businesses are far easier to infiltrate, and so they are absolutely a target, all the time.
Right. Well, I think that if it takes the boogeyman, if it takes Russia to cause them to rethink it, that's a great thing, because like you said, it's every day they're a target. I've been to a security conference last week, a security conference this week, and one thing that pops up over and over again is the ease that it is for anybody to go buy ransomware as a service, which is just insane that you can go put in your credit card and you get paid support from a ransomware gang to help you deploy your ransomware against your enemies.
It's terrible.
So most likely, while Russia is a risk for our global economy, for the United States as a whole, I think the day-to-day, every time they wake up, risk is really the guy down the street that wants to do them harm, or somebody who's just going out against 100 small businesses because it's so easy for them. So
Totally.
And I think right now, it starts a conversation, and at least with our clients, we have, if they don't have every tool in place, at least they have the ability to recover. So if they are hit, because the threats change every day and the responses change every day, and the tools that come out, there's new tools all the time to protect from a different type of attack. At least our clients, and I would assume you're the same way, have really good backups in place. So if the worst case happens, we go back, we restore, we put their business back in order. And I think that's at a minimum what you got to have in place. Ideally, you've got the full stack of 6, 8, 10 different solutions in there to protect things in layers, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's why you and I are here in Dallas, right? To learn what's evolving in the industry, what the new tools are, what we got to be on the lookout for. I think you mentioned backup and disaster recovery, which is obviously a super important thing. Unfortunately, that's not an end-all be-all at this point. Right. With data exfiltration being a part of ransomware 2.0, really, that is... you need your backup disaster recovery program in order to get back to business, but you may still be in the situation where you have to pony up for a ransom, and you've got to be thinking about other strategies. Anyways, overall, Blake, I think for small and medium-sized businesses, 15 years ago, this was a kind of a single layered approach.
Right.
As you have an antivirus software, you have a firewall, and you're in pretty good shape. In today's world, it's very much a multi-layered approach, and it's not just technology. It's not just firewalls, and now we call it endpoint security, and it's not just backup and disaster recovery. Most sophisticated businesses are going to, as you referenced, are going to have tools. 8 or 10 or 12 tools. But beyond that, it's a business consideration. It's a business problem, and you have to, particularly if you have to comply with any regulations, you've got to be thinking about policy, procedure, practice, and people. And people is the big one, because we know 95% of all breaches come from human interaction or human error at this point. And so, that cyber education piece has to be a really important part of your overall cyber program.
Yeah. Well. Then we mentioned the DoD earlier. It actually sounds like it's all DoD stuff with all the acronyms now, because we have MDR, EDR, SIEM, SAT,
XDR,
So, there's so many things. It's hard for it's hard for tech guys to stay on top of it, let alone our average business owners out there. So if you are in Colorado, definitely give Colorado Computer Support a call. We're at 719-439-0599, and our website's www.coloradosupport.com. If you happen to be in Park City, beautiful Park City, or in Salt Lake City, call Earl at Nexus. What is it?
Yeah,
Nexus IT.
Nexus IT. Yeah. On the web, it's nexusitc.net, and phone number 801-839-7006.
Okay. I think this will be on both of our YouTube pages. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you like it, follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and thanks for joining us. Until next Saturday, it's been great chatting with Earl in sunny Dallas, and have a great week, everybody.
See y'all.